Hi everyone and welcome back to the Startup Series. I'm your host Sophia Bomick and it's so nice being back. I think we're in the second season, like third episode right now. So a lot has definitely changed. I think my views on entrepreneurship over the past 3 years has definitely changed, and I kind of wanted to come on here today to talk more about, I don't know, more about mental health, about yourself and about your startup journey, because it's a journey in itself. It's a process, and I felt like along the way I've learned so much about myself. And I think people rush through it and they want to sell their product or their company as quickly as possible. But something that I find quite beautiful about this journey and even this podcast is that it's very cathartic. It's very, I don't know, it's very like you get to learn things about yourself that you wouldn't normally learn. For example, you're put in situations where you wouldn't normally be put in those situations, and there are multiple situations over and over again, and you have the chance to come back every time and do it differently. And I think that's the really incredible thing about being an entrepreneur. And I think today I wanted to come on here and kind of talk more about something that I've been through over the past 3 years, and every time I've been through it, it's made me face it differently, and that's mental health and life changes, and things that we can't control. So, if I go back to the very start of my entrepreneur journey, if there was anything I couldn't control, I think I used to have quite restless nights about it. So, for example, when it came to investment decisions, um, and people making decisions about my startup that were out of my control, I'd get very anxious. I wouldn't sleep at night, and I'd try and do things that maybe would influence the decision. And they never did. If anything, it actually made it worse. So, for example, when I was going through the investment process, when you're reaching out to people and maybe they're in the midst of making a decision, you kind of go to lengths to either change the story or embellish the startup more than it actually is. And I think I've been fortunate enough to try my hand at investment over and over again, that actually I came to the conclusion that maybe I can do this without investment. And it made me become more creative and also more honest in the journey of doing it. So, for example, I was fortunate enough to be introduced to, a company that build tech for startups. Typically, they don't work on equity, but I think my transparency and by saying, you know what, I don't have the investment, I won't be able to pay you. Would you be open to a revenue first payment schedule? And the fact that he believed in me and my honesty and transparency, and the fact that I was just so open about it, it's not a first time thing. That wasn't a first time thing for me. In the past, I've embellished what we have and put myself under pressure to pay someone back when I couldn't necessarily do it, or I paid from my savings. And being a bootstrap founder that doesn't have backing from their parents, it's very difficult when you put yourself in that situation. So I think something that I find quite incredible here is that you always have a hand at doing it again. Don't quit at the first hurdle. Like, let's say you mess up and you embellish the truth slightly and it doesn't work out. So try again, and next time try it differently. Maybe try it with some transparency, or even if you feel like you need to slightly embellish something, embellish the right thing, something that you know you can control and that you know that will be true, and that you're only slightly bending certain things. I think there's no right way of doing anything. And I think it's just making sure that you understand that everybody makes mistakes as an entrepreneur. But the reason why there are successful entrepreneurs and successful startups is because they see their mistake and they raise it too. And they're almost like, right, I'm going to try that again, but I'm going to try it this time or this way. And I think that's a really amazing thing about having a startup, is that you can keep trying and trying and trying again, and you can do it differently. I think that's the message from today. Please take that. Don't quit if you've really messed up. I think there are big PR fuck ups out there big PR scandals. But I think transparency wins over everything. And I think, for example, that's what's going to carry my company, my startup through, is that I know if we have some PR scandal out there, or if something happens, I know that the transparency that I hold for the company, the staff in the company, everybody's being accountable for their actions. You can't lose. The truth always wins. And I think that's something that I really wanted to show through this podcast today was don't give up when it doesn't work out the first time. God, you're so bloody lucky if it works out the first time. Remember that most people, I mean, oh my goodness, I've had to try my hand at this 6 or 7 times now. Endorse Me's been running for 3 years, and that's not even, I know we've got such a long journey. We've only just got to the point where I'm actually reaching out to people. We're in that phase of converting into revenue generation. And I know this phase is about to teach me loads. I've just gone through the first phase. Most people do that within, if they get investment, within the matter of a few months or a year. It's taken me 3 years, no investment, bootstrap only, but I wouldn't change it for the world because I've learned so much. Some people take multiple startups to learn these things. I'm very fortunate to do it within my one startup. So yeah, my message today is if you've messed up and you feel like you want to quit in your startup, don't. Go back to basics, have a look at what you did and maybe where you could do it differently next time. Take some time out if you want to do that, maybe a week or two, maybe longer, and then try again. I think the only reason you fail is when you give up. So keep going and remember to like and subscribe. Also, feel free to contact me if you want to talk about this more. I'll leave my details below. But thank you so much. I've been Sophia and have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.